Imagine if 96% of all life in Earth's oceans simply vanished. Picture 70% of land animals disappearing forever. This isn't science fiction. This actually happened 252 million years ago during the End-Permian Extinction, the most devastating mass extinction event our planet has ever witnessed. Scientists call it the Great Dying, and for good reason. This catastrophe makes the asteroid impact that killed the dinosaurs look like a minor hiccup. While the End-Cretaceous extinction eliminated about 75% of species, the End-Permian event nearly sterilized Earth entirely. It came terrifyingly close to ending complex life on our planet forever. To understand this apocalyptic event, we need to travel back to the late Permian period. Earth looked completely different then. All the continents had smashed together to form a massive supercontinent called Pangaea. This giant landmass stretched from pole to pole, creating extreme climates across its surface. Vast deserts dominated the interior, while lush forests grew along the coasts. The oceans were warm and shallow, teeming with bizarre creatures that would seem alien to us today. Trilobites, those iconic armored arthropods, still scuttled across the seafloor after surviving for nearly 300 million years. Massive coral reefs built by creatures called rugose corals created underwater cities. Strange shark-like fish called helicoprions prowled the waters with their bizarre spiral-toothed lower jaws. On land, the ancestors of mammals and reptiles were beginning to diversify. Massive predators like gorgonops, with their saber-like teeth, ruled the food chains. Early relatives of dinosaurs were just beginning to appear. Forests of seed ferns and early conifers covered much of the landscape. Life was thriving, evolving, and expanding into new niches. Then everything began to unravel. The catastrophe didn't strike like a sudden meteor impact. Instead, it unfolded over tens of thousands of years, beginning with one of the largest volcanic events in Earth's history. In what is now Siberia, massive volcanic eruptions began spewing lava, ash, and toxic gases into the atmosphere. These weren't ordinary volcanoes. They were flood basalts, eruptions so massive they could cover entire continents. The Siberian traps, as geologists call this volcanic province, released an estimated 4 million cubic kilometers of lava. To put this in perspective, that's enough molten rock to bury the entire United States under a layer 400 meters thick. But the lava itself wasn't the main killer. It was what came with it. These eruptions pumped enormous quantities of carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, and other greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. The initial effect was global cooling as sulfur particles blocked sunlight, creating acid rain that poisoned ecosystems worldwide. But as the sulfur settled out, the carbon dioxide remained, trapping heat and sending global temperatures soaring. The warming triggered a cascade of environmental disasters. As temperatures rose, the oceans began to lose their oxygen. Warm water holds less dissolved oxygen than cold water, and the increased heat created a stratified ocean where oxygen-rich surface waters couldn't mix with deeper layers. Vast dead zones spread across the seafloor, suffocating marine life. But the nightmare was just beginning. The warming oceans released massive amounts of methane hydrates, essentially frozen methane trapped in seafloor sediments. Methane is a greenhouse gas 25 times more potent than carbon dioxide. As these deposits destabilized, they released enormous methane burps into the atmosphere, accelerating the warming in a runaway greenhouse effect. The evidence for this methane release is written in the rocks. Scientists have found carbon isotope signatures that can only be explained by massive releases of biologically produced methane. These isotopes tell the story of an atmosphere poisoned by its own excess. As if volcanic gases and methane weren't enough, the Siberian eruptions may have triggered another killer. Some scientists believe the lava burned through coal deposits and oil reserves, releasing even more carbon into the atmosphere while producing toxic compounds like mercury and lead. Recent studies have found mercury spikes in End-Permian rocks around the world, supporting this theory. The combination of heat, poison, and oxygen depletion created what scientists call a perfect storm of extinction. Ocean temperatures soared to levels that would be lethal to most modern marine life. Some estimates suggest tropical sea surface temperatures reached 40 degrees Celsius. hot enough to kill most fish and marine invertebrates. On land, the situation was equally dire. Acid rain stripped forests bare. Extreme temperatures made vast regions uninhabitable. The disrupted water cycle created both devastating droughts and catastrophic floods. Dust storms raged across the barren continents as vegetation died and soils eroded away. The extinction didn't happen overnight. It unfolded in pulses over about 60,000 years, with the most severe phase lasting perhaps 20,000 years. Each pulse eliminated more species, pushing ecosystems closer to total collapse. By the time it ended, Earth's biodiversity had been reduced to levels not seen since the earliest days of complex life. The marine realm suffered the most devastating losses. Entire groups of organisms vanished forever. The trilobites, survivors of previous mass extinctions, finally succumbed after their quarter-billion-year reign. The rugose corals disappeared, along with most brachiopods, crinoids, and other filter-feeding organisms. The complex reef ecosystems that had dominated shallow seas were wiped out. On land, the large predators vanished first, followed by most herbivores. Entire ecosystems collapsed as food webs unraveled. The diverse forests of the Permian gave way to sparse, low-diversity plant communities dominated by a few hardy survivors. Yet somehow, life persevered. In the aftermath of this planetary catastrophe, the few surviving species began the long process of recovery and diversification. The early Triassic period that followed was a time of evolutionary experimentation, as life explored new forms and filled empty ecological niches. From the ashes of the Great Dying arose the ancestors of dinosaurs, mammals, and many other modern groups. The extinction had cleared the stage for entirely new evolutionary dramas. In a sense, we exist today because of this ancient catastrophe. It eliminated the dominant life forms of the Permian and allowed new lineages to flourish. Scientists continue to study the End-Permian Extinction because it offers crucial insights into how ecosystems respond to rapid environmental change. The parallels to modern climate change are both obvious and sobering. Like today, the ancient warming was driven by massive releases of greenhouse gases. Like today, it caused ocean acidification, habitat destruction, and widespread species loss. The rock record preserves the evidence of this ancient catastrophe in remarkable detail. From Greenland to China, from Russia to South Africa, geologists have found the same telltale signatures: sudden changes in rock chemistry, mass death assemblages, and the abrupt disappearance of fossil species. These rocks are like pages in Earth's diary, recording one of the darkest chapters in the history of life. The End-Permian Extinction reminds us that Earth's climate system has tipping points, thresholds beyond which changes become irreversible and catastrophic. It shows us that even the most successful species can vanish when environmental changes overwhelm their ability to adapt. Most importantly, it demonstrates that our planet's history is written in both destruction and renewal, catastrophe and recovery. Today, as we face our own environmental challenges, the Great Dying stands as both a warning and a testament to life's resilience. Earth has survived its worst crisis and emerged stronger, more diverse, and more beautiful than ever before. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe. Thank you for watching.